So it's one thing if it was limited to Barack Obama and the sort of shadow government that's been ongoing under the authority of Barack Obama that's persisted during the entirety of the Trump administration. But when I went to Cornyn's office, there were two people there, which means there were two witnesses. And I had on me in my thumb drive 9 manuals that were purportedly from the United States Air Force, several of which were co authored by a woman named Heather, who is now working as a guidance counselor at, I believe, Texas Tech, and some other people. I only opened them up long enough to look at the title page. I did not read them. I did not review them. I considered them suspicious and I considered them contraband. I also had printouts or saved, captured websites from what alleged to be an official website for the Army Reserve that had an office that had metrics in the address as well as the phone number that referenced the phone number and office number for Senator Cruz in Houston. And in this Army Reserve information was information about changes to MOSs that were going to happen for a number of specializations, all of which in a particular category were to be converted to pilot. And there was absolutely nothing about the original MOS that made any sense in a perspective of converting to a pilot unless it had to do with the vision I had, or rather what I saw, related to what was either Ted Cruz at NASA or was Mike Pompeo involving something that was intersecting through or in connection with Houston, associated with a large scale long term process they had related to replacing identification documents connected to people that were assigned to maritime vessels with other people that I understood they had recruited into engaging in acts of terrorism. And these people were meant to hijack the vessel. And one of the means by which they were going to hijack the vessel is that these black writers or these black ops operators were going to drive around or enter in or somehow take the identity of women, specific kinds of women, the nukes. They were going to get their hands on the nukes somehow. And these were identification documents associated with women that fit a certain profile, which were middle aged white women, mostly with blonde hair. I only saw one definitively, but I saw the setup on the screen. And this is right before I found this information. And I also had screenshots of what they threw me as it was a letter saying I was entitled to veterans benefits that popped out at me when I clicked on the website for Senator Byrd. It referred me to my local Veterans Administration office in order to apply for veterans benefits. And then I found a download of 3 different PDF files of the signature and headshots of Steven Schwartzman that just popped out at me. All of that was on the thumb drive. And I said to myself, if I was a woman on the street and I had this, because the understanding was that what I was supposed to do is there was a certain hotel I was supposed to go to, and I would get access to a room in the corporate suite. And then from there, I would get the information about the next stages. And around this time, I also found a website that looked very much like the website that used to look like the Women's Empowerment Project website, that was designed by somebody who also had a contract to work on the website for the Art Institute of Chicago. And it had the same profile, except it was a pharmaceutical company. It was an online pharmaceutical company, and it had this real sexy looking kind of shtick, like where it was like trying to lure you into thinking that getting information on pharmaceuticals was attractive and sexy. And I said, did they become pharmaceutical reps? And you could get, and then there were at least 2 articles, one of which was dated with the same metric associated with the Army Reserves and associated with my damn SAT score, dated for February 14th of 2018. What was it about? It was about, if I'm not mistaken, it was about some kind of intoxicant, not a stimulant. All of this was on that thumb drive I had with me when I went to Senator Cornyn's office, and I said, I have evidence I need to turn in. I believe there might be an attempt to try to frame or threaten Senator Cruz, and I also had the documents with my social security card and the 2 fake fucking electronic accounts they set up on my social security card. And where did that shit fucking turn up? Where did the shit with the fake accounts they set up on my social security card, which has been stolen, where did that end up? In the nuclear fucking regulatory press releases concerning small nuclear reactors and preparedness when it comes to radioactivity. Be prepared. You mean like, how the fuck are you gonna prepare somebody? You mean like how I was prepared? I went into his fucking office. I was on site. I had the evidence with me. And they trafficked my ass here. That was over 2 years ago. We're going on 3 years. This was after they stole my report to the Department of Justice. As if they stole my report to the Department of Justice to say, now, we're giving you the keys and you can go. You already paid us off. They were recruiting me. They were recruiting me from within the fucking government to be a fucking terrorist. That's the only excuse. Every fucking time something has come up to do something else, they refuse to acknowledge. That's all they did. That's all they fucking did. How many other people got set up like... Let me ask you a question. How many people that are allowed to have fucking jobs ended up going into the corporate suite, doing the equivalent of hooking up a deal with a Schwartzman, maybe 6 months, a year down the road, after they paid off some deals? Were they allowed to get a city job? Were they allowed to get a job in the state? Let me ask you, how many candidates in the last fucking election, men and women, did something similar, and now they got a whole background of political credentials that aren't even fucking theirs? And they just fucking sworn in. And what the fuck have they done in the last 8 days?